In this tutorial, I will explain how to work with trees in a ORM. Trees are used to represent hierarchical information. Probably the simplest way to do this in a ORM is to use the expansion feature of ORM queries. For more details about queries, please watch the queries tutorial. This feature has been implemented in the Sales Portal sample application. So let's see how it has been done there. In this application, we have the product order object representing a customer order. The product order contains order line items, which are represented by the line item object. The relationship is specified in the line items attribute of the product order object. Each line item refers to a product being purchased. A product is represented by the product object, and the relationship is specified in the product attribute of the line item object. So we have the following hierarchy: product order, line items, product. In the Sales Portal application, we have a query called product order all. This query shows all orders and is called from the dashboard of the application. Let's go to the Display Details dialog. And in this dialog, let's select the burger menu and look at the When Row is Expanded option. We see here that it has been configured to show the default form of the object. Let's see how this form looks like. So we go to the product order object and look at its form. The first section of the form shows the line items attribute. And if we go to the presentation options of this attribute and then select the burger menu again, and then select When Row is Expanded, we can see that when line item is expanded, a process display product for line item is called. And if we look at this process now, it shows the form of the product object that is referred to by this line item. So the user expands a row with the order. The form of the order shows a list of line items, and if the user expands a line item, he will see the form of the corresponding product. Let's see this in action. So now I am in the Sales Portal application. I click on the products and orders, and I see the list of my orders. When I expand the order, I can see the list of line items that belongs to this order. And if I expand the line item, I can see the details of the product. So in general, if you have a parent object, you can use the expansion feature of the query to show its children. And then for each child, you can show each of its children, and so on. When you use the expansion feature, you usually display quite a lot when the row is expanded. It can be a form, or it can be a query that shows columns. There is nothing wrong with that, but there is also another, more lightweight way of representing hierarchical information, where each expanded row is just one line of text. This feature is only available for displaying references. Let's look at it. Let's add a button to our order that will display a form of the order where the line items and products are represented as a lightweight tree. When the user clicks on a line item, the product that this line item refers to is displayed. To do this, I create a special form called tree. And I put the line items attribute into this form. Then I click on the line items attribute and select the tree as the representation of the attribute. For more details about representing references, please watch the relationships tutorial. If we accept the default options, the tree will show all references of all objects that it finds along the way. For example, a line item refers to its parent order, so it will show the order in the tree. We do not want this because we already know the order, since we are looking at its form. So we select Display Selected Types Only radio button and then click on the Select button. And here in this dialog, we can choose exactly which objects and which references will be shown in the tree. We can choose here which objects the tree will consider. So if a reference attribute refers to some other object, then it will not be displayed in the tree. In our case, we will only show line item and product. And for each object, we can specify in detail how its references will be handled by a tree. Even if an attribute refers to the allowed object type, we can exclude it from consideration here. If I select the Every Instance is a Leaf radio button, I can stop where I am from considering any reference attributes of the current node, and it will always be displayed as a leaf node. The reverse can be achieved if I untick the Display Instances of the object in the tree checkbox. This will stop where I am from displaying any instances of the selected object, but it will still consider its reference attributes as indicated here. This can be very useful if you have some intermediate objects that you don't want to show in the tree, but whose references you do want to show. There are also some other options here. You can specify icons for tree nodes and allow or disallow drag and drop. For our tree, we just need to select the objects to show in the tree. Now let's just add an operation to the product orders query to display this form. Let's see now how this works. So I put the version under test and log into the browser. Let's go to some order and click on the button that we have added. We can now see our form with the tree of line items displayed. When we click on the line item, we see the referred product. Note that every record in the tree is represented by one line, which shows one or more attributes of the object. Attributes are separated by spaces. Here we can see quite a few attributes for both line items and products. Let's only display quantity for the line item and product name for the product. To do this, we go back to the presentation options of the tree. Attributes displayed for the topmost object of the hierarchy, in our case a list of line items, is controlled in this table here. So we select quantity only. Attributes displayed for other levels of hierarchy are controlled in the presentation options of the corresponding reference attribute. For example, if we want to control how the product of the line item is displayed, we need to go to the product attribute in the line item object. So here we select name. Let's see how this works now. So when we log in and display our form, we can see that each line item is represented by the quantity only, and each product by name only. Of course, this example with line items and products is an artificial one. You would probably not do it like that in the real application. However, it's a good illustration of how lightweight trees work. And here is an example that you would probably use in the real application. This example shows you the power of AwareIM trees for displaying hierarchical objects, that is, objects that refer to themselves. Suppose that we want to show to the user the ancestry tree, where for each person we can show his children, and for each child we can show his own children, and so on. Here I have prepared a small application that has the person business object. Every person knows about his parent and children. Note that both parent and children attributes refer to the same object person. I have also added a form to this object that allows adding children to a parent. And I have prepared some data. Let's have a look. So I log into this application. I have added a query that shows all people that we have. If we click Edit, we will see the form of the person object. And there we can see his or her parent and the immediate children. We can add children by clicking the Add New button. I have added one grandparent, John Smith, who has two children, Roger and Mary. Both Roger and Mary have their own children. Let's now add a tab to our form that shows the entire ancestry tree, not only the immediate children, but also children of every child, and so on. So we open the form of the person object and add a new form section. We'll call it Ancestry Tree. And we will put the children attribute there. And when we go to the presentation options of the children attribute, we'll select Display as Tree. Then we'll select Display Selected Types Only. And we will only show the person object in this tree. And for the person object, we will only show the children reference attribute, not the parent reference attribute. And I will also turn off the header for the tree. Let's see now how this looks. So when we log in and show the form of the grandparent, John Smith, we can now see a new tab, Ancestry Tree, which shows a neat looking form with all descendants of John Smith. Note that since the tree shows one object only, it shows the same attributes for every record in the tree. So the attributes are displayed as nice looking columns.